is on.
Okay, so relationship to the schedule. We're gonna want to have. We want to use this new, model.
Okay.
And again, the goal here is not like we can always schedule more sessions, right? So note. Can always schedule more sessions whenever, right? What we're trying to do is we're trying to create what we would call like not the core, but the regular scheduled kind of foundation, right? It's like the foundation of like these are the regular scheduled sessions that we are expecting to happen every week. The most difficult part of regular scheduled sessions is that we still need to prioritize topics or the focus, prioritize the focus and topics and responsibilities, right? We can't just like randomly be going to sessions without knowing what we're doing. That would be obviously against policy.
Yeah.
So we still need to make sure it's clear that the policy state that before you get on the call, you should be communicating and coordinating as a team about what we're going to work on during the session, but we're creating a regular scheduled model that's going to create this core foundation with 50% of the time is the prime trajectory, and then the other 50% is basically everything else, right?
Yep.
So I think before I was putting together a model here, like if we just kind of move this all over here, and so column B68, I'm putting here number of sessions per week. So I feel like what we were talking about is like 2 for Hydra, 4 for Andromeda, and like 2 for Cobalt. That's kind of what I remember us talking about.
And Sonic as well, I would say too, no?
Possibly. But let's just get something started first,
Okay.
So
I mean, you're a more available Sonic than Hydra, so I would prioritize Sonic over Hydra. Or you're planning.
This can't be about any one person. This is about the team, right? Like I'm also perfectly fine going like this. Let's just focus on Andromeda, get Andromeda organized, set up properly first and foremost, and then we can expand from there. Because like the idea is that we need the foundation, we need the backdrop of like what is our team, what are we doing, how do we function, where are we functioning? Like that is the foundation. Because if we can't get that organized, the rest of everything falls apart. You know what I'm saying? Because we can always add sessions and we can always cut down sessions, just like we can add octets and cut octets, We just need to get something started. So, I mean, I understand the goal of like, oh yeah, let's just put sessions everywhere. But the whole point of this is like, okay, we know we can start with just 2 sessions. We could also be like, okay, we want 6 during Andromeda, 4 during Cobalt, and like schedule a bunch of things that just aren't going to happen. Like, for example, for me, it's like, yes, it'd be great to have 6 for Andromeda. But realistically, we're just not there yet. Like we don't have a foundation of 6 clearly organized sessions in Andromeda every week. Like we can schedule Sonic whenever we want to, right? But do we really need to schedule like actual foundation for Sonic? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because it also makes sense to have like an octant, which is Sonic, that it's just based on like priorities or reviews or work verification, to keep it flexible depending on also external deadlines that we have and all these kind of things, right?
And so thinking about the Vortex scheduling model, right? The Vortex scheduling model basically is octant based, and the whole idea is that you're building the foundation for your team based on the specific octant. So if you're going to schedule your foundational Vortex scheduling during Sonic, it's because you believe that Sonic can be a functional active octant week after week after week to build and support, Andromeda and other octants. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
if we don't believe that Sonic is really there, then there's no point in trying to build a foundation somewhere where it's just going to drop and fall apart. It's just going to waste energy, you know? So I think that we should start with our focal point, which is Andromeda, and then expand from there.
Correct. Let's do that. So do we want to keep what we already have scheduled, or we want to build something totally new?
Well, we automatically keep everything we have scheduled, right? We're building something that's totally new to be proposed on Thursday. Does that make sense? Okay. Right? We're proposing something new, and then we'll go from there. So I would say for Andromeda, we want to do a minimum of 4. For Hydra, we want to maybe 2. For Cobalt, I would say maybe 2. And then Sonic, I think we should just keep open schedule for Sonic. Because I mean, I'm open to this scheduling more during Sonic and trying to do that, but let's wait until we get Andromeda and Hydra and or Cobalt organized, right? Because I just think we're spreading ourselves too thin. And remember, the goal here is not to schedule an individual person or individual buddy team. The goal is to like for example, let's say we just did 2 on Andromeda, okay?
Yeah.
Just to give an example, okay? So let's just do 2 in Andromeda. So let's do 2 example for 2, okay? For Andromeda, right?
Yeah.
Let's focus on Andromeda for a little bit and just do an example. So we know Thursday, Fridays, we have the main session, okay?
Uh-huh.
So what we would change this main session to is would be main/buddy team, work buddy team, right? So the question is, what is the #1 top priority on Thursdays for Andromeda? And that would be, if we need to do work, we split up into work buddy teams. If we need to coordinate as a team, we do the same.
Yeah, but I mean,
for that?
Yeah, no, this is I mean, this is policy, but for the schedule itself, I would definitely keep the main session. Right, for the schedule.
I'm talking about the Vortex scheduling model. If you're only doing 2 sessions, right? Let's review. So for the 2 session per octant model there's 2 sessions, right? The first session is the main/work buddy team. So basically, if the priority is coordination and planning, then it's automatically main session, right? If the priority is work, then you do buddy team breakouts, right?
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, got it. Perfect.
So, I mean, the session's still happening regardless, and everyone's supposed to be there and present regardless. The only question
is it going to be a main session, or is it going to be a
do you focus on the work, or do you focus on the coordination? And it depends where you are. So one week you might coordinate everything and you have a whole perfect plan. Everything's assigned. We know exactly what the plan is. So then the next week, do you really need another session to re-coordinate everything if nothing has changed? There's no issues. Nothing has changed. It's like, let's just break up into buddy teams and get focused on the work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
But obviously you start with your main session. But I'm just saying, if you only have 2 sessions per week, this would be what you do. So then let's say the other session is on Tuesday, Wednesdays, I guess. I don't know. Tuesday, Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
And then this would be prime trajectory. In this case, it would be like, the website work, right? So that would be the 2 sessions per week. Right? In this case, the website umbrella. This would be the umbrella website work, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then that would be all you would schedule for the week. So what's key is that everybody who's coming to the main session on Thursdays, you would also want them to come on Tuesdays, right? It's like the idea of the Tuesday prime trajectory work session is that everybody's on board. Everybody is on deck. Everybody is present and showing up just like they would for the main session, except you break up into the buddy teams and you're doing the work.
Everybody's on deck. It's nice.
Right? So it's a team schedule. So the goal of your, if you're going to have just 2 sessions per week for the octant, you want those sessions to be stacked with people. You want everyone to come because that's like your centrifuge. That's where the most work is going to get done. Obviously, you're having work happening all over the place for the rest of the week, and you can schedule on and off. You can even have other sessions that are happening, but those aren't your main focal point of bringing the energy and the momentum and the magnetism together, right? These 2 sessions are your focal point.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Perfectly.
Okay, cool. So it's not, again, it's not just like in the old model, it's just like, oh yeah, let's just schedule nonchalantly and like, maybe we'll come to the session and maybe we won't, right? This is a whole nother level where it's saying, okay, this is like your main focal point sessions. Let's make sure these happen and that they never don't happen and that they're not dependent on any one person. Like the main session, we all know the main session is going to happen regardless of whether someone shows up or not. If I don't show up, the main session should still happen.
Yeah,
that makes
absolutely.
sense. So we want our work sessions to be the same, right? For these prime trajectory work sessions, right, that are like our umbrella, like primary work sessions, we want those to happen regardless of who shows up. We just want basically everyone to be invited, but we want to know who's coming and to organize them into their buddy teams and to organize the work that they're doing for the session beforehand. But we want everyone to show up, right? So that would be
we want to build something that, as you said, a very good metaphor. All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Exactly. So that like there's no way we can get all hands on deck 6 times a week. I mean, we're just not a big enough group. We're not a big enough team. It's just not going to happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we need to focus our energy. So for me, let's look at an example of going into Cobalt. So Cobalt, we already know we have what we would call, a main/work/buddy team. This is life support, right? So on Wednesdays we do life support alliance. We'll just say support, okay? So we have buddy team, main, work session, support. We know that's already happening on Wednesdays, right? So we can utilize that as part of our vortex, our whole organism that we're building here. And so then maybe Mondays is prime trajectory work day, right? So if we did this, yes, for Andromeda, we want all hands on deck and everything. And then for Cobalt, we want, instead of all of our Andromeda on hands on deck, we want all of our Cobalt hands on deck. Right?
Yeah.
So all of our Cobalt hands are going to be either, from the main session or support session. By the way, obviously we're not organizing the life support much. I mean, we have this one session, but no one's actually coordinating it because Joyce hasn't really stepped up yet. But multiple people are questioning the timing, and it's like we still don't have the models for the follow-up and the getting people signed up into the program, and then they would be voting on the scheduling and everything. So we still need to get that all set up, because there's no saying that that's going to be the time, but that would represent our main session work buddy team support session. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, but if we do this, then we have, even though it's 2 per octant, for the overall team, we've got 4.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that could be enough right there. We could just stop literally right there, get this set up like just as a foundation. And then once this is set up, then we could think about going into Hydra, going into Sonic, and doing whatever else we want to do. It just depends on how we want to set it up and decide how to do it. I'm open to doing Andromeda for 4 and even Hydra for 4. I think we should keep Sonic open, but as long as you understand, like, this is an example, we can go into 4. I don't think we're ready for 6 yet. I really just don't think we're ready for 6.
I would suggest
we should try 4. If we can do 4 successfully, then we can consider expanding to 6. But again, remember, it's not just one single octant. We want to focus the energy for a single octant, and like as that octant grows and gets more momentum, we want to go with it. But we have to remember there's also other octants too.
Yeah. So absolutely. So what I suggest, looking at the whole team, that could work, and we could have it well oiled really quickly, is 4 in Hydra, 4 Andromeda, and 2 Cobalt, and open schedule for Sonic.
But why would you 4?
We are ready for
no,
sorry, I'm so sorry. 2 Hydra, 4 Andromeda, 2 Cobalt, and open schedule for Sonic.
Okay, so I mean, I just say we just go with it and see what it looks like. So
yeah.
So you know, let's just say maybe 2 Hydra, do you know, go for 4 in Andromeda, and then maybe 2 in Cobalt, and then open schedule for Sonic. Does that sound good?
Exactly. I think this way we can do it.
Okay, so what does that look like? So the first thing that would look like is that, let's just start with Andromeda, because Andromeda is our center point, right? So Andromeda, we would be expanding out to 4 sessions a week. So for me, what 4 sessions per week looks like is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. So we skip Monday, because Monday, Tuesday is not a good day. It never is a good day. So I would say instead we go with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that basically we go 4 days in a row, Tuesday through Friday.
Okay, yes. I would just move this here, because this way we keep like kind of the
No, I'm not even talking about what we're scheduling. I'm talking about what days we're going to do. We got to choose 4 days.
No, I agree with you. Monday is kind of always a bit because there's some urgencies, people and stuff. So I agree with you. This looks great.
Okay, so we're in agreement on the 4 days. So now let's think about what the 4 sessions per octant model looks like, right? For the vortex scheduling model. So we know that you have the prime trajectory for 2 sessions, right? So we're going to discuss what the differentiation between those 2 sessions are. Okay, so 1 and 2, and then we can deal with the days of the week. We know that basically, Thursday is the main session, right? So then we have all the other work.
I mean, the main session work BT. That's anyways. The main session it's a prime trajectory session, right?
No.
The main work BT. No,
not even close.
No. Okay.
So it's broken out into the main session is for coordination and communication, decision making, and getting our team organized, right? It's for everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, so that doesn't really. Yeah, I mean, so when we have the main session, it's something in addition. I don't know. How would you say?
Okay, again, there's two categories under the vortex scheduling model. There's 2 categories always, right?
Yeah.
50% is the prime trajectory. 50% is everything else. Main sessions come under everything else.
Okay.
Anyone can propose any topic at a main session, regardless, and they can talk about whatever they want to.
Yeah, exactly. Okay? Yeah. So this change depending on what we are prioritizing, on what we're focusing on.
What, the main session?
No, I mean the schedule. So we schedule the session, we schedule the time for the session during the week. Okay, the days and I mean, we're talking about Andromeda, so we decide the days. We have decided, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, and Friday. So, for example, then we have on Thursday. It's when, if we decide to prioritize work coordination and decision making, we have the main session, and otherwise we prioritize the work. But the work, it's not something that it's fixed. It's flexible depending on what we want to work for. We don't have like a time that is, okay, today is just prime trajectory work. No, I mean, this could change depending on what we are focusing and prioritizing or not. Or
well, yeah, that's the beautiful of the whole vortex model, is that based on the trajectory is going into the work session, and then based on the needs of the trajectory, will automatically determine what the priorities are, so that everyone's working on the correct priorities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect. So, for example,
and obviously it'll take some training to get good at that, but the idea is that we're going to set it up that way as best as possible. But what I'm trying to make sure is clear is that for the 4 session per octant model, you have 2 sessions on the primary trajectory and then you have 2 sessions on all the other team work, right? So there's all the other team work. 2 sessions is broken up into the main sessions and then open buddy teamwork, right? So the main session is basically everything, and the open buddy teamwork could be prioritized, for example, like, you know, payroll, budget, you know, HR, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe like even CCC. You know, I don't know. I think the CCC could be part of like our overall launch plan if we want it to be. But the idea here is that the open work buddy team session will be addressing whatever the number 1 top priority is for the overall team to address outside of the actual prime trajectory, all the other trajectories. Okay.
Yeah. So I have a question, right? So let's make an hypothesis, a scenario. So we have the new week starts. So
what?
We start a new week. All right. So
yeah. So now, the new week in this case starting on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah. So let's say we decide to prioritize on Tuesday, Wednesday, work on money support. So everything else. Then we go Wednesday, Thursday, again, I don't know, we have some taxes deadline. So again, taxes work, everything else. Then comes Thursday, we have work only.
No, wait. You already just did 2 everything else sessions, which already is against the model, right? The model is that for all the other teamwork sessions, remember, you only get 2 sessions. One is the main session, done. That means you only have 1 more for everything else, which is the open work buddy team. So that would be if you're doing the money session, then that's it. That's check, done. There's nothing else.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that we already are labeling the schedule session for what we're gonna focus on.
Yeah, well, so in the 4 session model, the main session would be 1 of the 4 sessions per week, right? That's our model for it. So the main session is already automatically scheduled, and then you have the open work buddy team session for everything that is not prime trajectory, and then you schedule 2 prime trajectory sessions. And we're going to break those down into what, like, we look at our launch plan, right? So we go to our launch plan, and then what the schedule will tell us is that, for example, one of the sessions might be on branding and identity, and the other session might be on, you know, for example, SVG website work, right? Just basically website work starting with SVG, right? So if you look at here at line 104, this might be, you know, brand and identity, and then you have website work starting with SVG, you know, ... right? So this could be like, and we can put, you know, prime in front of it. So the idea here is that your primary trajectory is clear, but if the primary trajectory shows that the next step in the prime trajectory is the branding and identity and the website work, that's what you would focus on, right? And the same thing would be true with the open work buddy team. Whatever all of the other work shows us as the priority for that week, we're just automatically going to go into it as the primary goal for that time. Okay, whether it's budget, payroll, HR, whatever is the other priority that we need, money, etc., etc. Okay.
Got it.
And it also depends somewhat on who's present, who's available, and who's scheduling, because, you know, if I'm not available, it might change what is the priority work that can be worked on, which is also perfectly fine. We just want to make sure it's focused on the type of work that's set for that particular session, right? But you can see how limiting and slow. So if you're doing 2 sessions for a single octant, everything's going to go very, 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 very slowly, and it's going to take years to get the launch completed, right? If you do 4 sessions for a single octant, it goes extremely slowly still, right? So it isn't until you get like basically 4, 6, and then have multiple octants going that we can start getting all the octants working together and start actually building something that starts going a lot faster. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But either way, the key to the scheduling is that even if we, because let's look at the total session. So if we add this all up, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So basically we're doing 2 things, right? One, we're setting up each individual octant for its sessions so that they're functional in the overall bigger picture, so that each octant can become interdependent. That's the goal. Every single octant eventually becomes interdependent. And right now we're building the whole half-year model, right? right? But in addition to that, we are also simultaneously, I'm going down to line 120. We're building 8 session per week model for the new world, right? So the new world, we have 8 sessions per week, which means we're going to end up with 4 sessions for the prime trajectory, right? And then we're going to end up with 4 other work sessions, which will include, right? If you think about our 4 other work sessions, that is going to include 2 main sessions currently. So for our main sessions, we've got our normal our normal main session, and then our second one is our support alliance session. Okay. So and we know this one's happening during Andromeda, and this one's happening during Cobalt. Okay. Okay. So from there, we're going to get 2 more sessions that we can break out. So we can take everything that needs to be gotten done within separate from the prime trajectory, and then we put that into number 3 and 4. So we can basically break it, instead of just 1 session, we can break it into 2 sessions, right? And then for the prime trajectory, we're going to break the prime trajectory out into 4 components instead of just 2 components. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we get 2 additional components. So when we're organizing it, we're doing 2 things. One, we're trying to organize each individual octant, and then 2, we're trying to organize the half world, right, as a whole, right? But it's very important when we're doing it, we're not only organizing the half world, because eventually, as you gain momentum, each octant becomes interdependent of each other octant because of who is asleep and who is awake. So as you split out into the whole vortex model with the entire world, because there's only 8 octants, each one becomes interdependently functional in relationship to the whole, and you just have different people who are asleep and awake at different times, so you can't force the schedule to be based on just a half world. You have to really think about the octants themselves. So what you don't want is, for example, all of our prime trajectory sessions happening only during Andromeda, and all of our other team watch sessions only happening during Cobalt, or vice versa. You want to balance that out.
Yeah. I mean, we said that each octant should be kind of its own system.
Exactly. But we also want it all to fit together. So it's both.
No,
and it's always and both, right? So the vortex model works both on the octant level and the half world level, and then eventually on the entire global level with all 8 octants. Yeah, right. So we just want to fill this all in. And just to finish with Andromeda, we have the main session. If we do Tuesday, Wednesday, open work buddy team, and then you have prime trajectory. Yeah, this is completed. This is good.
Yeah. Cobalt, we would have, on Monday, everything else I was doing it yellow. I was doing it blue. So this open work buddy team, open work BT VA, I would say, because we might have the VA session, right? Of money support on Tuesday, Wednesday. All right, so then we have Cobalt, perfect, because we have the prime trajectory work on Monday, and then on Wednesday we already have the support session, which if it doesn't happen, we can also decide to have the work buddy team, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so then this leaves us with Hydra. Yeah.
So for Hydra, you would just be scheduling the 2 sessions, based on whatever the people in Hydra are able. I mean, if you don't know now, we can figure that out on Thursday, what would work best for people.
Okay, usually Friday it happens. People are more available at the end of the week. And I would try to put the prime trajectory work on Tuesday as well. Yeah, this would be a great schedule.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So, I mean, I think that's good. Again, this gives us 8 sessions to work with. This is a lot already, but I think we can do it. And plus,
we're already doing that.
We're
doing more than this already, actually. But
yeah, but the difference is that what we're trying to do now is set up a regular
all focus
model that can actually be dynamic and work, with the flow of all of the needs that the organization needs to accomplish, right? So, for example, right now, we're scheduling, but we have a budget session or a payroll session once a week, and we never get payroll done, and we never work on anything else, right? So it's like there's dozens of other things that need to get worked on that no one's even thinking about, right? So this is still just barely a starting point here. We're going to have to expand to be able to successfully, for example, our timeline, if we want to, I would say that with this model, with 8 sessions a week, we should be able to launch within 6 to 8 months. But we're probably going to have to expand a bit if we want to launch quicker, like in 3 months, which I think is our goal, right? So for now, this is a good start, but we're going to probably want to get to, for example, 6 in Andromeda, ideally 4 in Cobalt, maybe even 2 in Sonic, right? It would be what we want to get to really be able to do a faster launch.
Yeah, perfect.
But this is still 4 work sessions on the Prime trajectory per week, which is still more than we had before for SVG, where we only had 3 work sessions scheduled. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So what I would say from here is that if we really want to hone in, we just need to figure out this 8 sessions per week model down in line 120 and kind of fill in the gaps on what's happening in the additional 2 Prime trajectory sessions and the additional 2 other work sessions, right?
Yeah. I mean, brand identity, website work. I would say
maybe we're doing 2 different websites. Maybe it's just like saying one of the websites is SVG, and then another website is like the new umbrella website, that we're working on both of them. I don't know if that's a good breakdown. I feel like it's not the best breakdown. I think also, if we have 4, we should be doing planning and launch, launch coordination. It's extremely important. That's another option. Like we're doing now, right? This session right now, what we're doing right now should continue to get the plan set up and the coordination. And this also could evolve even to specifically Prime trajectory tactical ops, for the Prime trajectory, kind of like a little mini tactical ops specifically to make sure our Prime trajectory is on track.
Yeah.
And doing what, when,
Yeah, sure.
So anyways, these are just ideas and options. I don't know if this is exactly what we want, but
I have a question. When we do website work, we also working on the income, right? Because the website.
Well, SVG is income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if the Prime trajectory is launching, and once we launch, we actually be working on client work, and we can break out client work during these times as well.
Yeah, I mean, one would definitely be taxes, and the other one would definitely be budget and payroll.
Well, I would say taxes and budget and payroll go together, and then the other is either money or executive, exactly, and then correct. That would be Cobalt. Right?
Yeah.
Then you have Hydra, Andromeda, Cobalt. So what's missing is.
But wait, we don't have any. I mean, we don't have any Cobalt. Everything else. I mean, we only have Cobalt when there is the support session.
Yeah, so we need to put over here the Octant on the top. So Octant. So the brand and identity. Oh, I see. Yeah. So one of these Hydra sessions needs to be
Andromeda.
So it's Friday, Saturday. So the Hydra one is going to be open buddy team taxes / AGC kind of thing,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's like an AGC main session / open work buddy team.
Yeah, perfect. That's on Friday.
Yeah.
Then we have on Andromeda on Tuesday.
If you think about it in terms of the trajectory, it's AGC value, because if you're doing budget and payroll, taxes, budget, payroll, you're combining a trajectory that relates to both AGC and value, right? And this is where the trajectories get very helpful, is that you can just start combining and collaborating them, even though they're umbrellas, but because you just have to, you know, until you can split out more sessions when you have a hardcore, a more stable foundation. So the idea is to get this foundation set, and then we can always go backwards. If we have less money and things get worse, we can cut down into, you know, less sessions per week. But then what we want to do is open up to more sessions where we're getting Andromeda to 6, you know, and we'll see if Hydra and or Cobalt want to go up to 4, and then Sonic probably. I personally would like, well, because we have so many people for Old World, Hydra is probably going to be pretty popular for Old World, you know. Also, you know, you wake up a lot earlier than me, so Hydra's probably going to be pretty popular, which is fine. So maybe it'll end up with 4 during Hydra, 6 during Andromeda, 4 for Cobalt, and 2 for Sonic. Like that could be what we end up with, you know. So number, I'm going to column L, number of sessions per week. You know, this would be eventually. So we might go to something where like it's like, you know, 4, 6, 4, 2. Okay? And that would be, let's see what that adds up to. Sum of all of that would be 16 sessions a week, which would be 8 sessions on the prime trajectory. So I don't know if we're going to be able to handle that. I think that just might be too much, especially until we can do more recruitment and hire more people. But anyways, I think this gives us a lot of flexibility. And the whole general idea here is that it's very flexible. Once we start learning more about the trajectory model, it'll help us get focused on what is the #1 priority. Plus, I think this planning and launch coordination tactical ops session is going to be extremely important for the prime trajectory. And what we're going to want to do is create, I'm going to do this on line 140, create a prime trajectory, basically coordination and tactical ops spreadsheet. All right, so basically I think it would be good that all of this information that we're working on right now would all be stored in basically like a prime trajectory management coordination tactical ops web spreadsheet.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, for all the planning, the coordination, we would just have everything for the prime trajectory coordinated out as a as its own thing, separate from the rest of the whole.
Okay. Yeah, Jay, I love it.
Awesome. And again, this is just this is experimental, and it's just the beginning. So we're just trying it out. We'll see how it works. I think it's going to work a lot better than what we had before.
Correct.
But again, this doesn't get rid of all of our current schedule. It's just like, you know, we're proposing this instead of the current schedule. So on Thursday, we need to look at their current schedule side by side with this schedule, see where it overlaps, what changes, and then how we want to move forward with the overall schedule. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, Jay. So we want to bring this up on Thursday. We don't want to make a proposal now.
Yeah, I mean that we can't. It's just too big of a change to do without getting. And remember, this is not the first proposal. This is like the second or third proposal. The first proposal is just on the prime trajectory itself and understanding and implementing the whole vortex model. So there's like 2 or 3 proposals, and this is like not the first one.
Okay. Okay, so do we want to take a 5-minute break and then focus on something else, or you want to wrap it up?
I think I'm done. I think we have a plan going into Thursday. Let's definitely go over our wrap up for scheduling for tomorrow. So we have a plan for tomorrow. We know what we're doing. So tomorrow's Tuesday. So typically Tuesday we do the money session, right? In Cobalt.
Tomorrow it's Tuesday. Yeah, we have Andromeda H2 money session. Andromeda H2. Andromeda H2. Money session.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we just stick with that.
Yeah.
And
I
then
also have taxes on Hydra with most. Hydra.
What about taxes?
I have Hydra H3 with moth.
Okay, is that going to be okay as far as
1099s?
as far as the overlap, Hydra hour 3 to Andromeda hour 2, that gives you an hour and a half, right?
Yeah, no
And
problem.
you get a half-hour break.
Yeah.
All right, and we just definitely want to prioritize reminders for org support on Wednesday, and this is obviously, we want to talk to Joyce about that, see if we can get that organized and how we want to move forward with it, because it'll be our first org support session in a very long time.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think that's everything. We are looking good. So I guess just to wrap up this scheduling thing, I mean, I'm really excited about the new schedule. I'm happy that we are cutting down from the 6 sessions in Andromeda down to 4 sessions in Andromeda as like a starting point, because I feel like if we just jumped into 6, it could be a little rocky at the start. You know, there's no point in scheduling a bunch of stuff that doesn't happen, you know, because that's not going to build momentum.
Yeah.
Right. So I think this is good. And then we're getting Hydra set up. We're getting Cobalt set up. Somebody in Old World wants to do 2 sessions in one of their Old World. Be fine. You know, they could consider doing that. It's up to them. And yeah, so I give the session, which I give it maybe like a 7. Well, 6.75. Break. Take a break, which is good. The vortex model seems to be working still. You know, it's like getting us on the same page. We have a plan. Everything seems to be moving forward. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
I'm sure eventually we'll hit a hiccup and it'll be like, oh, speed bump. Whoa, let's reevaluate. But we haven't gotten there yet. So
No, not today.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Jay. Talk to you later. Yeah, thanks so much. All right. Thank you. Ciao. Ciao.